Welcome back to Love Out of Chaos with the Valentines. I'm Patrick Valentine.
That kid die. Woo woo.
Woo woo.
And I'm Linda, Mama Valentine.
Today we're going to be talking a little bit more about our childhood, mine specifically, in relation to Zachary and my mom, the early years. We're going to be doing a fun challenge, seeing who's most likely to, sibling edition.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, we're going to be talking about Zach's Crocs.
I do it.
Let's do this. What episode is it?
5, 6.
Six.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. Let's get it.
Wow.
Yay.
Well, we've been covering a lot of topics in October. We're here now in November and realizing that, it'd be nice to just get to know you. And so we're going to go back to the beginning. And, I think it's important to share what life was like before Zachary.
Yeah. I think for me, it's kind of a tough question to answer because one, Zachary was I was 6 years old when Zachary was born. And so I think memories form at like 2.5 years old. So I don't have a ton of memories. I think there's like those little memories of going to tutor time and eating like Carl's Jr. French toast or just being super, super active as a kid. But when I think about it, a lot of it was a little fuzzy. And
Yeah.
it's not until like seeing pictures that some of those memories may come back, or talking to you, some of those memories might come back as well. And I was trying to figure out why that potentially is, because I know a lot of my friends, they have like more like of those core memories. And I remember it was like a good, 6 years of life, right? Like we had a
Right.
good time.
Right.
But I don't remember these like core memories like my friends do. And one of the things that came up was related to trauma. And I think with Zach having open heart surgery as a kid, my brain kind of blocked out a lot of those like memories in terms of the 6 years old before,
Mm-hmm.
as a way to process what the heck was going on with my brother and him having open heart surgery. And it was a very interesting realization, and talking to my therapist about it as well, and trying to unlock some of those, like, again, really good memories, really great memories that we had
Right.
together as mother, son, as well as like me individually as a kid. But yeah, it's very fuzzy. It's very fuzzy moments of, okay, going to tutor time, eating Carl's Jr. French toast, and playing baseball here and there and other sports and being active. But there wasn't these like core memories that I know happened based off conversations that we've had, but they're not really like, they don't feel like my memories. They just feel more of like, I know them because you told me them. And so I guess the question going back to you is, what was some of those like core memories that you saw of like whether watching me or that we had together?
Well, watching you grow up was a real delight. Obviously, you were my firstborn. Um, you were just very active, just had a lot of inner strength. You were so strong, even just being pregnant with you. I remember how hard you would kick. You leave me bruises when, it was that
Sorry
last
about that.
9th month. You were strong. You were very strong. And I remember in the hospital when you were born, the nurses couldn't keep you wrapped because you would fight through being swaddled, and they were trying to take all your, what do they call your stats, your
Blood
um,
work.
doing whatever they were
Yeah.
doing. Yeah. In the hospital, and your little legs were just everywhere, like hanging out of the bassinet. And these are the stories that, they told me that, and you're always pretty much like that in terms of just inner strength and such a active. You still are. Um, and watching you, you're very competitive at an early age, and
Still
but
am. Still am.
you
Don't like to
really
lose.
are. You really are. Um, you were kind-hearted and still are. I remember watching you be very aware of your surroundings, aware of everyone around you. You just enjoyed making sure that everyone around you would participate with you. You didn't like to necessarily be alone. I don't
Mm,
know if you remember those things, but
I don't.
you never really liked to be alone. You always liked to be in company, always full of conversation. Um,
Yeah, I don't have that memory, but I remember you telling me or family members telling me of like I would always say like not by myself,
not by myself.
not by
Yeah.
myself,
You always
and
wanted to include everybody and be included.
uh,
You always wanted to partake. I've said that before. Like I said, I remember you were so active in sports. You started sports at 2.5 years old. And the age at that time were the peewees. You were about 3 years old. But we asked if we can put you in there because you look like you were just ready to go. And um, you absolutely loved it. It was peewee baseball. And I knew early on your athletic ability, even as a 1 year old, throwing ball, just running. You started walking at 8.5 months. I thought that was pretty,
is that
about
early?
eight.
I
Yeah.
have no
But
idea.
between that 8.5, that was pretty early.
Okay.
And yeah, you did a lot of things early. Potty trained early, like all these things I think about. It's like those, um, and you just always enjoyed like new adventures, going out, learning new things as you do now. And knowing you today, how competitive you are and how much you still like sports, I realized that those early years, that was part of who you were. That was part of the things that you enjoyed doing.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing much has changed
Yeah, it
from
sounds like
that.
it's very similar to how I am now of being super competitive, enjoying sports, wanting to get others involved. I like to be by myself sometimes now. It's always really nice. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I love people. I love interacting with people, hearing people's stories. But sometimes at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, I'm cool being in the corner of my bed by
Yeah.
myself and my own thoughts.
I think that changed for you later on in life. I realized also that you enjoyed being at home.
Hmm.
I used to call it, you're a homebody,
Yeah.
and you enjoyed playing your video games, collecting your Pokemon cards or baseball cards. You liked that time, and I felt like because as you got older, you were very involved in sports, very. And I'm talking about you went from one season to the other, whether it was soccer, baseball, basketball. You did not stop year round. And sometimes some of these sports overlapped. So I think you found comfort in your downtime doing these at home activities because you were very active.
Yeah.
And it's not like anybody was twisting your arm,
No,
right?
I enjoyed it.
You really
I
enjoyed
I
them.
enjoyed all the sports activities and everything it taught me from leadership to teamwork. I think is a great lesson for everyone. I am a big advocate of these sports.
Right.
I think the lessons I've taken from it is just incredible that I continuously use throughout my everyday now as an adult. It was just fun too. It was being a kid, it was being with your friends, being in
families and
community
friends. Yeah, the
and
community. Yeah,
that competition
right.
even
Oh, you
kept coming
enjoyed
out
the
of me. Yeah,
competition.
it
You
was
really
just
did.
a really great time. So going back a little, for you, do you have a core memory of, again, before Zachary was born, of me or of us together?
I have many. I think I enjoy documenting through my photography, through photos. I never wanted a moment to slip by. I have bins and bins and bins of photos.
Yeah, I do. I do.
And every moment for me, I felt like I wanted to just capture everything. And when I go through those photos, I realize I did. I captured a lot of these special moments. Um, every day there was something I felt like there was to capture. I was that mom. I really was.
Yeah, everywhere we went, you had a camera.
I did.
Everywhere. This was before phones could take pictures. This was
Even
before
before having you, I always had a
picture.
camera.
Yeah.
And
It was before digital too, right?
yes,
Yeah, before
absolutely.
digital.
Absolutely.
And so you started from the beginning with a camera in your hand, capturing every single
I
moment.
did.
I
I captured all the holidays.
uh
I have so many memories. I really do. And I
I'm not gonna lie, I think there was a little bit of annoyance, which you probably saw it in pictures too,
absolutely,
of
yeah.
the camera. I hated being on camera.
You
Here I
did.
am now, but
Right.
at that
That is so
young
true.
age, I didn't like
Yeah.
it. I didn't like the idea of taking pictures or anything like that. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you fully why.
Maybe because you had a camera in your face all the time. I
Maybe.
don't know.
I don't know either. But I think I'm also very grateful because I'm able to look back at those photos and ask those questions of, oh, what was
Right.
this at 1 years old? Who is maybe this person that is no longer with us in the family? Or
Right.
it's the memories and the stories you get to share as a family together, as a mother-son relationship together, and kind of going through it. And then it brings back and sparks other memories, these photos, which I think is really beautiful. And so, even though I was pretty annoyed most of the time growing up with the camera,
I started seeing that change in you. I'm going to say maybe about 8 years old. Somewhere between that
the
eight
annoyance
and
with the
nine.
camera, or
Yes.
oh, I feel
Between
like I felt it like in my soul. Like
I'm sure you
I was
felt
in
it
the
early.
womb.
I'm sure you thought
I think that's
so.
probably why I was kicking out of like my swaddle. I was like, probably someone was trying to take pictures. I was like, nope, not this life.
No, I saw the change. It was much harder to take pictures because even after having Zachary, you would pose, you'd be fine. Would you give me a little hard time? Yes, of course, but I didn't see um your your real dislike for photo or video uh until a little older. You enjoyed when I took the video of all your sports, you enjoyed watching all those back. But I think it was those stand here and pose
Yeah,
or here
but
let me take another one.
I am grateful for it now, looking back and seeing those memories and talking about with you and reliving those moments. Again, that wouldn't happen in the same way without those photos or even video
Right,
eventually. And so thank you.
of course.
I was a little annoyed, but hindsight's 2020 now. So I am grateful. So
I
thank
knew
you.
at some point we would all look back and be grateful for them. I know at that time I knew that I was prepping for my old age scrapbook days. But to really think about those core memories, or even you, I have so many. I have so many from your first days in school, your first kindergarten days, your sports. I mean, really, there's just so many memories, and I enjoyed partaking in all of them. I enjoyed watching you grow and be curious about life and the world you lived in. I think what I find special today is watching you still enjoy the things that you enjoyed back then. Today, you're a current collector of Pokemon cards. You love those baseball cards. You're still very active in sports. And you love your video games. So I can't really say that much has changed in that area that you absolutely love doing.
It's my inner
And
child. It's my
yeah,
inner child.
and it's fun to see you do that because I think there's certain things that, you know, it's nice to still continue to do. Um, there's things about our childhood that we absolutely love and cherish. And I know you cherish those things because I see you. I see you get excited about the Pokemon cards or even your baseball cards. Maybe someday it's something that, you'll hand off you know,
To my future kids.
to your
Yeah.
future
I
kids.
think that's the goal, connecting with my future kids in these elements, right? Whether it's video
Right.
games, cards, sports, or whatever they're interested in. And it reminds me of how I always try to connect with Zachary in those elements as well. You see Zachary really enjoying opening Pokemon cards together.
Right.
And that wasn't fully the case growing up. He would have his moments, and I would maybe show him my binder of Pokemon cards that
Yeah, he didn't
I
have any
collected,
interest in
but
that.
he didn't
No.
have full interest.
No.
Very similar, he didn't have full interest in video games or even sports at that young age. But it wasn't
Yeah.
until like we kept introducing him, me and him kept connecting with each other on many different things that he became interested in. It became a thing that we were able to do together. And I think that is one of many reasons why our relationship is so strong now is we get to allow ourselves to have those like inner child moments together of opening a Pokemon card or being competitive at pickleball or basketball or whatever it may be and just enjoying each other's time and company in those small moments.
Yeah, I definitely believe that both of you have kept me young at heart. Watching both of you connect. I even remember you and I playing video games when you were younger, and so I'm grateful for those things. Even just watching both of you make those connections, um, integrating myself whenever you know when whenever I did integrate myself, either playing video games or I felt so invested in your Pokemon cards. I felt so invested. Shall we talk about
I
that?
don't want to talk about it. I don't want,
Come on, let's talk
long
about it.
story short, I sold like my first edition Pokemon cards when I was a kid. I wanted some money. I didn't sell it for much, but at the time it was a lot of money for a kid. Those cards are probably worth so much now, and I died. It's a sore subject. Okay, it's a sore
And what did
subject.
mom say?
Mom said I shouldn't sell them, but here we are. You could have bought them off of me.
I
It wouldn't
could
been
have.
fine.
You know what? I should
You could
have.
have bought them off of me.
I probably should have. I just remember thinking, wow, we spend
Yeah.
so much. I say we because we spend so much time creating your binder, collecting those cards, those special, what would you call them? Shiny cards.
Hollow cards.
The
Yeah.
And but yeah, those are good times. We
Yeah.
have those memories.
I like to think because I did have a Charizard. I like to think it wasn't first edition. I don't know, but here we are again because you don't know like those little details as a kid because you're just enjoying the hobby. I think it's blown up into something much bigger now, but
Right.
it was just enjoying the hobby together, um, with me and you, or showing it to Zachary, or with my friends, and trading Pokemon cards here and there with my friends. It was just a fun time to connect with one another. But yeah, sore subject, sore subject. Let's move on. Let's move on. Um,
I'll never let that one
yeah,
go.
I know, which is valid. It's valid. Going back a little bit again, when you're pregnant with Zachary, all I remember was this immense amount of joy and excitement to finally have a baby brother for the first time. Obviously, you being pregnant, lots of different ups and downs of being pregnant.
Right.
But what was that like for me besides the excitement? Was there anything else? Did I go through stages?
You did. You absolutely did. I remember you were always so in tune. Even going a little further back, um, our life dynamic was really between you and I because your dad worked so much. We only saw him maybe in the evenings and then the weekends, and sometimes he'd work weekends. So everything we did was really around us, you, and you were so in tune with my pregnancy. I had a really difficult pregnancy. Um, and I remember you would just go through these moods. For instance, you went through a stage where you were really sad,
Mhm.
and I didn't understand what was going on. And until you had like different stages, and I thought, wow, maybe he's very sensitive to my pregnancy. So you went through a stage of just being very either angry or frustrated. And these were all very uncommon for you,
Mhm.
just sporadic um, moods. I remember when I finally realized what was happening, um, having these conversations with you, giving you that extra time and attention. And I don't know, this is very common for other siblings and other parents, other moms to go through this with their kids. But I remember thinking to myself, he must be feeling certain uh, emotions through my pregnancy. And I remember what helped was just sitting down and talking to you. You must have gone through like 6 or 7 different really um, extreme stages.
Mhm.
And I
I
think,
don't remember any of that.
no, I don't think you would have. And there's such a core memory for me because I think watching you, how sensitive you were pretty sensitive child growing up. And by that, I just felt like you were very in tune with your emotions and your um, just sensitive.
Mhm.
It tugged at my heart in ways that it's hard to articulate because going through that, I realized, wow, he's really connected. He's really in tune. He's really probably watching me go through certain stages. Um, I remember just talking to you through it, making sure that you knew I was there for you, making sure that you understood that, you weren't going to be loved less or any different and we got through those stages. Once I realized what was happening, I felt like you just needed some reassurance that everything was going to be okay.
Yeah, and I don't think that's uncommon for siblings to go through, right? Like we didn't know that Zach had Down syndrome at this time, so it was just
Right.
siblings in general.
Right.
That this unknown of having another person come into your life
Right.
that, especially at 6 years old, you don't fully understand what a baby is. You don't fully understand what having another sibling means, and that unknown, I think, for a lot of firstborns provides a lot of potential anxiety.
Yeah, because
And
I,
that,
I I remember for myself too, being the
yeah,
oldest, I went through that too.
how
It
is
just
this going to change the relationship
right,
with my mom or dad or the family dynamic? And again, at 6 years old, you don't even uh, know what's happening. You aren't able to articulate, oh, this is why I'm feeling this anger or sadness or whatever
right.
emotion it may be. And I'm sure part of it was seeing you go through those emotions of a pregnancy because,
Those changes,
yeah, being pregnant is not easy in itself.
Right.
I've obviously never gone through it, but hearing mothers go through it, it's one of the biggest blessings in the world, but also one of the biggest challenges. And so, yeah, I'm sure that had a little bit part of it, but I also think the other part may have been the unknown. So fast forward a little bit, right? Zachary is born now. We already talked about his birth story and having open heart surgery and things of that nature. But going a little bit beyond that, kind of the early years together. As Zachary was 1, 2 years old, I was still at that time in elementary school. And again, for me, I think those early years thinking about who I was just a kid. I was just a kid trying to do the next right thing. And I still try to do that every day as an adult. But I think at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, those adolescent years, still trying to formulate who I was as a person and as a kid. Again, always enjoyed sports. But I think that formulation of who I was hard to navigate in my brain because of having Zachary in my life. And it wasn't necessarily like on him, but I always constantly thought of how can I be a great big brother to him? How can I integrate him into the things that I enjoy? How can I understand him more because Zach was nonverbal? Um, how can I just be the best brother I could be? And I think that like took up a lot of my brain energy as a kid that I didn't realize it until I was older because it just was. It just was going through that thought process. And when I think about those early years, that's like at the forefront of my mind.
Hmm.
And then like on the back of mine, I have to like dig deeper of like, oh, okay, I played these sports. I had these core memories with sports, winning this championship here or collecting this Pokemon card here. Or oh, I remember when I played Madden for the first time with video games. Or so I remember those little moments, but I remember that deep feeling of how do I become a good brother? Felt like that was always at the forefront of my mind. Did you see that? Did you see a different perspective of me in my adolescence?
I did see you, and we talked about this before, being just a typical older brother.
Mhm.
We talked, like we talked about this in the sense of just wanted to play with him, how to connect. He went through the baby stages, and I don't think I was looking for anything other than just experiencing what was the stages that we were going through. So I can't really say that there was these major highlights. I think it was all very subtle
Mhm.
because if you were experiencing things um through your own experiences and through your relationship with Zachary. I just remember early on, even before having Zachary, you in school enjoying the time and those stages in your life. Like you were a good student, and through watching you through these moments, and after Zachary was born, you s- I saw some of those struggles, but they were sort of subtle at first.
Mhm.
I don't think the struggles were struggles that happened overnight.
No,
There were
they never
struggles.
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was an accumulation of this thought process or accumulation of again what was even happening. And so I don't remember this big moment either.
No.
It's just like this
Yeah.
gradual I just remember it was constantly on my mind, and I just didn't know what to do with that. I think that's why I also really loved enjoying sports is because that was, like, the one place that my mind would stop.
It was became your outlet.
Yeah,
It
it
became your
was it was
outlet.
the one place that, like, my mind would stop. Nothing else mattered besides winning this game with my team again, and I had a great time. But those early adolescent years, it was gradual. Hey, we did experiences. We went to Disneyland. We um, did this as a family. We played board games, and it was great. I think I had a really good childhood, loving, caring family, and so I think that was something I'm very grateful for in all of that. And I think it wasn't until 10 years old where a lot shifted for us as a family. And so 10 years old was the time that we first moved.
Yeah, there were some big changes. Zachary was about 4 years old. You said you were about 10. Um, we are going through, we were a household. We're no longer a two-income household, and so financially things started getting a lot more challenging. And I found myself at that at your time at your age of 10, faced with selling our home. I had bought our home when I was 25 years old. Um, and, this is the home that I thought I was going to raise both of you in. And that wasn't the case, obviously. So taking you from what you only knew, your friends in the neighborhood, your school, wasn't an easy thing. But um, there were other factors, obviously, you know, um, and after that, I think the struggle of not finding that permanent home and that dragged out for years because
Hmm.
we moved a lot. It was unfortunate because it wasn't the home and the life that I wanted to give both of you. And although, God always provided, there were real financial struggles from losing not just one home and losing everything once, but it happened.
I think that was a very tough time. That move, that first initial move, was
Right.
really, really tough for me. And I remember you telling me this time where I was struggling. I was really sad because we moved in with Ata, my grandma, your mom, right after. And I was just very, very sad. And you're like, Patrick, like, what's going on? Like, what's the matter? And I said something along the lines of, you don't know what you have until it's gone.
I have the story. I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So when we were getting ready to move, there was an anticipation of newness,
Hmm.
right? And you were fine. You're happy. You're like, well, we're going to be with family. And I said yes. So it was a reassurance that everything was going to be fine. And things did not set in until the realization of how much everything changed. Not just for you, obviously for me, but everything changed because, like you said, you don't know what you have until you lose it. Um, I think you went in with a positive spirit. You went in because you did.
Hmm.
That's who you were at that really early ages. And I admired that. You were willing to take it on as long as we were together. But when you finally set into your new school, within a month, within that first month, you realized things started setting in, that you started missing everyone and everything about what that home provided, your sports, the connections you had to friends in the community, And that was hard. That was really hard. And that was very apparent. So, I did everything I could at that moment to try to find a better placement for you.
Yeah, and literally that fourth grade year, I think I went to 4 different schools, technically. I
Fourth
was homeschooled
grade,
once, so yeah, that's if you consider
I
homeschool
guess
part of
so.
it.
I think, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say
went yeah,
three.
4. 3
Or-
schools, 1 homeschool,
Yeah.
so 4 total is how I say it, but yes, 3 physical.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your original. And then, yeah.
the first one, then homeschool, then the
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that was 4th grade year for me. Lots
Yeah.
of different
That
transitions.
was, yeah. Now you're taking me back. You're right. Now you're taking me back. Wow. What a wild, um, yeah, that was a wild ride. Those moments were not easy. Trying to make sure that you were still in a place of wanting to learn, adapting. Um, you were all obviously just very intelligent. The school that you ended up was just not challenging you. Um,
I think that was the first realization for me that, yes, school is important, but it's not everything. And what I mean by that is education is vital to our society, vital to each individual child. But when other needs aren't being met, it's hard for that child to thrive in the education system. And for me, I felt like a lot of those needs weren't being met from the social aspect or moving away from my friends or feeling like for the first time, what does home even look like? What is a home?
right.
Because that was the first realization of, okay, maybe I don't feel like I have necessarily a home because we moved a lot. That was the first move. But I'm still very grateful because there's a roof over my head. I have a place to sleep. So, what does that even fully mean in these moments as a child, not feeling like this is how it's supposed to happen, whatever that means? But again, as a kid, you don't even understand what's going on. You're just trying to survive day by day. Throw all that into the same element of Zachary having medical issues, of all the financial struggles that uh, we had as a family. And I say financial struggles even loosely in that because we had like these ebbs and flows. We had times where we would be considered low middle class and didn't have to worry about it that much. Other times, I remember you telling me like, okay, we could only get stuff off the dollar menu today. Other times, dad losing his job. Other times, having to move again because of XYZ. So it was always this like teeter totter of situation of like, okay, where are we at as a family um, from a financial standpoint, but also
Right.
realizing, okay, this is going to take priority over even like my mental capacity in school.
Yeah, I don't think you realize the things that you have to confront until you have to confront them.
Hmm.
And I say this all the time, it's things that we take for granted. Um, However, sometimes really life gives you some of those unexpected situations, and you have to, or at least what I felt, that I was in a place of not just survival, but I was also in a place of constantly trying to problem solve, right? Even you being in school, trying to figure out what would be the next. What are my alternatives? I remember homeschooling you. And although it was a very short time, I felt like taking you from that situation because I didn't want to lose you completely into a system that potentially were full of a lot of unknowns, maybe worse situations, and you weren't thriving, you weren't happy. I didn't feel as though um, it was necessarily, I know life is not fair, but it wasn't fair that if you weren't at least in a place that was going to allow you for you to flourish, academically, then that wasn't the right fit for you. And I know sometimes people don't have the option, but I went looking for the option. I went seeking and making sure that uh, even if it was unconventional, because I
Mm-hmm.
know homeschooling back then,
Wasn't
super
as popular.
unconventional,
Yeah.
was not popular, especially amongst my friends and my family. Let me tell you, I didn't care. They weren't in my position,
Yeah.
right? They weren't there problem solving with me. Therefore, I felt like the need to do what I needed to do. And I was thankful because I knew God was with me and He gave me the strength to make those choices, take it on head on. And I was thankful. Right people came into our space through the sports that, we continue to put you in and make sure that that didn't, that wasn't taken away from you, that you still connected with the community, with sports. And I was thankful to come across a family that was part of a charter school, and that became a really great fit for you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I'm very thankful that I didn't just accept what was potential, what anybody would think is your only alternative, your only
Your only
choice,
option.
your
And I
only.
think that brings up a really good point that even if you feel like there are no options,
You can create an
you
option.
could create an
You can
option.
create an option.
It is up to you individually. It is up to you as a family, a group, a couple, whoever's listening, right?
Right?
You're able to create these options that maybe there's a situation that feels like a no-win situation, but you problem solve. You have that confidence in yourself and the ability within yourself to like get it done. It's not going to be perfect,
No, it
right? It's
wasn't.
it's never going to be perfect. Life is not perfect. It's the reality. But I think when you have that mindset of, okay, this isn't ideal, but let's make the best of it.
Right? Because it
Let's
didn't
problem
feel
solve.
ideal. Right?
Let's problem solve all these things. And that's something I am grateful for that you have taught me and Zachary a lot, not only through your actions, but through words and through conversations, that everything is figure outable.
It is.
Everything in life
I
is
wholeheartedly believe in that.
figure outable
Everything is.
because I obviously talked about, hey, not feeling like having a home was obviously very tough. Going to many different schools and having to make new friends every felt like every year at a certain point was really, really tough. But in those moments, I took it on as like a challenge of like, okay, you know, I have food on the table, a roof over my head. Let's try to make the best and make a new friend. Let's try to play this sport with this new team. Yes, I miss my friends from back home, but hey, now there's new opportunity and new things to learn. And I think it's something I try to implement in my daily life as well, that everything is just figure outable. And when you have that mindset and leading with love and kindness in that, I think good good options present themselves.
And as challenging as it was, you always made friends, which was nice to see.
I
Did
don't know how.
No, I do. I mean,
This is the
come
funny
on,
part for me. This is the funny part for me because I just remember going into every new school situation and just like, man, I'm tired. I'm just gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be the quiet kid. And then recess would come and maybe we'd play a sport, and then somehow a week later, there's like these friends. I couldn't tell you how exactly I made these friends, but I think in that reflection, it could be just treating everyone with kindness. Hearing people's story.
People would gravitate towards you. You were likable. You still are. And I mean, I think that was I think that offset the difficulty. Making, just watching you um just make new friends. I think that also lifted your confidence
Mhm.
and your spirit through the difficulty, through the challenges, through the changes. And as a mom, that created a sense of relief because I knew that you weren't alone. I knew that you weren't going to be alone. I wasn't going to allow you to be alone,
Right.
because if one community didn't work out, you know me, I'd move on to the next community.
We moved like 10 times already. Might as well make it 11th.
You know, not every place is a fit
Yeah.
for everyone. You think about it, it makes you stronger too. It
100% made
it
me
challenges you,
stronger.
but it makes you stronger.
I think it made us stronger as a family. 100% agree with that statement because I take those lessons every day now in whatever event we go to, whatever new situation. There's always a opportunity to make a connection with someone,
It is.
to make a new friend,
You're definitely
to
not shy,
to
so
learn from
yeah.
someone, to give like that kindness and love to each other. And that I think wouldn't have been at a core value and possible for me if one didn't come from you, and two come from situations of moving this much and being kind of thrown into like, okay, you got to figure it out. Everything's figured outable.
Right.
For you, what was the biggest challenge in moving so much?
The biggest challenge for me was being in a relationship that did not support um or make these transitions easy.
Mhm.
And that is a hard truth for me because I felt very alone. And life happens, situations happen, the unfortunate happens, change happens. But I think when you don't have someone by your side to really be part of those changes in a way to elevate your family, it makes all the challenges, all the circumstances that much more difficult.
Mm.
I saw myself always having to make up for that, having to make up for those losses. Even though I was problem solving, trying to make it a positive change as much as possible, trying to learn from it, I realized that for myself, not having the support made everything that much more difficult.
Yeah. I and that's real, that's very difficult to navigate when you're trying to figure out your own relationship, like your own romantic relationship, but also trying to help navigate this change with children. And I think it brings up a thought in my mind, right? Change is going to happen no matter what walk of life you're from, no matter what experiences you have. There's going to be some level of change. Some change is predictable of, hey, you're going to graduate high school.
Right.
That's change. Other change is unpredictable, right? Having to sell the house or moving back in with family. That's a little bit more unpredictable. Having to move a lot, probably a little bit more
Right.
unpredictable. And what I've noticed is there's two different type of people when faced with this change. There's the one that welcomes it. It's like, okay, let's do it. Let's figure it out. Change isn't necessarily bad.
Right.
Change can be good. And then there's the other person that doesn't welcome it, is scared of change, wants the status quo to sort of be the same most of their life. And I've talked about this with dad multiple times, but he's not someone that liked change. Again, there's pros and cons to that. There's someone, uh, but I appreciate you welcoming the change because I think welcoming the change made it easier for me to navigate what that change meant for me as a child. And now as an adult, realizing change is good.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with change. You're going to go through different seasons of life. It's welcoming that and being like, hey, let's do this.
Yeah, because it could be an adventure. Boy, has it been an adventure.
Life is an
An
adventure.
adventure.
Life truly is an adventure.
And all those little stepping stones in our lives, everything that's happened, even through telling the story and reminiscing, and um, even these like surprise moments of, wow, you brought me back to certain moments. It's brought us to this point,
Yeah.
this moment, today, here, doing what we've been doing, even together as a family in the last 5 years. We have sort of, if you will, collected these experiences, collected these memories, talents that we didn't even know we had, um, opportunities. We've collected all these and have been able now to be in this place
Mm-hmm.
to share this story, to know that there are others go through similar situations. I hope that our story gives them the hope, gives them faith to know that no matter how difficult your circumstances are, no matter the challenge, no matter if you feel like you're failing, it's important to know that these are temporary.
And so with that, I think for anyone listening or even to your younger self, what do you wish you knew back then that you want to express, whether to someone that's going through it now, of these hard changes, of these hard challenges, of moving a lot, etc.?
It's not uncommon to feel loss and even moments of despair. I feel as though that these moments also become part of your opportunities. I can see how many opportunities we have had. Anyone that feels like they can't do it one more day, I feel as though if you find, if you can weather the storm and find those moments of gratitude, you can get through another day. Because there were many moments that I felt like I just didn't want to do this anymore. And although we're sharing our stories, people don't really realize what others may be going through because you often just don't see it. You see the outside of a
Mm-hmm.
person's life. You don't understand or know what's going internally with someone. That goes for anybody.
Yeah, of course.
Um, and to be kind to one another, to allow our stories to bring you understanding of others' struggles, um, to allow our stories to maybe understand maybe if your neighbor's going through something that's difficult, the children in your neighborhood. Um, these stories can help others, give hope, perspective. One of the things for me that un- the biggest thing for me as sharing this is my faith. I could not have gotten through any of this because these struggles drew me closer to God.
Mhm.
I don't think I understood what it meant to build a relationship with him. I didn't understand the importance of allowing God to really drive your life because those moments that we felt like we were losing everything before I knew it, I realized that he was paving the way for something else. I couldn't see a next step in front of me. I couldn't understand why one, it felt like an avalanche. I couldn't understand because it felt like an avalanche of um, circumstance, situations, and struggles and challenges that really was years, years, not only through relationships, but watching you both grow.
Yeah, I felt like it never stopped.
Medical, I felt like it just never stopped.
Mhm.
Exactly. I didn't think if it was ever going to stop. I felt like this was my new norm. And when I finally gave it to God and just let it go, that's when I was able to clearly understand and accept these challenges. God tells us to pick up our cross and follow him. And everyone, no matter what point in your life, and by that I mean accept your struggles, allow them to mold you. God changed me and broke me down, but also rebuilt me. And I could not be where I am today without understanding that those struggles, those challenges, the moments that I felt like I was failing were all for a purpose. And yeah, nobody wants to go through tough
Of course
times.
not.
Nobody's going to sign up for
Yeah.
that, but it makes you stronger. It's made me stronger.
And it's made you into this really beautiful human mother, friend, daughter that I think a lot of people should admire. Um, and I'm not just saying that as your son, right? I'm looking at it from an outside lens of you give a lot of love to all those that you meet, a lot of patience, a lot of kindness, a lot of resilience that I think is needed in this world more and more to give love to one another. And that I think was always in the core value of who you were. But I think going through these struggles and these times made it even stronger, made you an even stronger woman that you are today. What I really want people to kind of get out of our story, or even telling my younger self, is you're stronger than you believe, more resilient than you think you are. You are more powerful than you think you are. You are more beautiful. You are more amazing than you think you are. I think we're often our biggest critics,
We are.
especially if we're going through that tough time, those avalanche of times that feels like it's never going to stop.
Because you feel
The,
like a failure.
yeah, feel like a failure. The why me conversation comes in.
Or
Like,
what did I do?
why am I going through this?
Yeah.
What is this supposed to teach me? What did I do so wrong that I deserve this heartache that many of us have gone through in a point of our lives or are going through it? And I think it's reminding each and every one person that you got this. You're stronger than you believe. You deserve all the love in the world. You are a beautiful human being. And I think I wish in my mind that was constantly in my mind as a kid. Again, you told me this, but I wish like I was able to tell myself and believe it because again, as humans, we're just incredible in so many ways.
I think that's
And we
so
got this.
so beautifully articulated. I don't think we sit down and think of we don't sit down and think of it in a manner as such because we're in those struggles, right? And it's hard, it's difficult. But like you said, we're deserving. We share our story so that we can inspire others. Your story will inspire others. All the things that we've done up to this point and the things that you've done, I believe it becomes a testament for others, our testament of our faith.
Hmm.
Um, but even watching you, you know, to this place and point in your life and the relationships the growth and the relationships that you've built in your life, um, they show strength. Watching you still be so loving and kind amidst all these challenges. Your story's not over. You have so much more to share.
I don't think it's natural for us, or even as people, I don't know, but for sure for us to share these hard realities that happen. But I think it's important to not only talk about it for other people, right? And trying to be that inspiration, but also for us, kind of having our own little therapy sessions in a sense and our own little healing. And I think that's a power and testament to the power of expressing your emotions and expressing those feelings, whether it's to a family member, mother, son here, or a friend or a therapist, right? We all need that person to talk to.
Yeah, it is very healing. Just sitting across from you, watching you. I say this over and over. I'm just so proud of you.
I'm proud
And
of you.
just thank you. Thank you for being thank you for being my son and giving me this opportunity to be your mom. I feel very blessed.
I do as well. You're a great mother. And just excited wherever life takes us.
It's just the beginning of this
It
beautiful chaos.
is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It is challenge time. So for this segment, it is who's most likely to sibling edition. So me and Zach are going to be participating who we think the answer is, but ultimately our mom has the final say.
Oh, why?
That's right, man.
Yay, Mom.
You get to choose if it's going to be Patrick or Zachary.
Hey! The only caveat to this is it is in relation to us as kids, not us as adults now.
Jackie Potter Patrick.
Zachary, Valentine, and Patrick challenge. That's what we're calling it. Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun. Let's do this.
Do it.
The first one.
Oh, yeah, Dad.
Who's most likely to spend all their money shopping?
We're not talking about now. We're talking about kids.
We're talking about us as kids. Who's most likely to spend all their money shopping?
Wow. You know, it's kind of a tough one.
That's our answer. That's our answer. But mom, you have the final say. We think it is this guy right here, Mr. Zachary. But
You
mom,
know, okay. This is a really genuine tough one. I'll tell you why. Patrick, you love to save your money.
always
You love to save your money.
still do.
Take Mommy clothes.
You're welcome, my love. You're welcome. You look amazing. Zachary, on the other hand, when he was younger, didn't really understand shopping. He really didn't ask for much. He was content with anything. So because you had money and you had the ability to spend your money, when you wanted to, you'd spend your money like on your PlayStation, like big
A
purchases,
wild allegation here.
and
Wild.
your Pokemon cards,
What I'm saying, man.
and your video games.
Patrick.
you would
No, you cannot change your answer, man.
you would save your money, but
Don't be
you would
switching
make
up.
big purchases.
Listen.
So I'm gonna have
Zach
to
was
say
still the
Patrick.
shopper. Zach is still the shopper in this family.
We were talking about when you guys were younger.
We're kids,
So
yeah.
this is valid.
I don't.
This is valid.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Mom's the final decision. Whatever. All right. I quit. All right. Next one.
Well,
That's it.
I mean, look at it this way. You both got it wrong. So you are twins. Okay, next question.
Hey.
Hey, twin man. Twins.
Yeah.
Okay. Who has the better love life?
Patrick.
We're talking about kids. We're talking about kids.
No, Patrick.
Zach was always about the ladies.
Yeah, he
Zach
was. He
always
really was. He
somehow
absolutely
getting a
was.
hug from the girls. Look at that smile. He's trying to hide it.
Oh, no.
He's trying to hide it.
Hold on.
Look,
Like I know you're very confident in that,
come on.
and Zachary's obviously very confident at his choice with Patrick.
Which I
but-
appreciate it.
Which and I think I can see where he's coming from, but I'm gonna have to say Zachary.
Yeah, Zachary for sure. 100%.
Yeah,
That's not
Zachary.
even a competition, man. It's Zachary.
It was always about the ladies, those little googly eyes and that smile.
There it is. There's that smile, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
And he's still about the ladies, so you know.
Look, here you guys.
You cannot blame us. These are
Yeah.
your choices in life, and it started at a young age. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Question number 3. Who is the favorite child?
I can't believe you're asking that.
Patrick had me. They have.
I can't believe you're asking me that.
Listen,
Do I have to pick?
yes, 100%.
I have to pick.
It's the question, who is the favorite child?
Yeah. This isn't
You think it's
easy.
Patrick?
Yeah.
I think it's Zachary.
This isn't easy.
Yeah, you know. You know. Come on.
I never believed in favorite child. I don't think it was ever really a thing. But if I have to choose, like if I have to really choose, I'm going to say Bella.
That's our dog. It's kind of messed up there.
Well,
Stop it.
That's what I say. Stop it.
I know you didn't see that coming, but I had to prepare for something like this.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Do not.
Uh,
Dude, we both got.
Bella's a favorite child. She is.
I'm just a loss for words right now. I'm below a dog.
yeah.
You're below a dog too, man.
Hey, Bella's very special. She's family.
She's great. She's great. But
she's-
favorite child, great.
Yeah,
wild.
She is.
Wild.
She is.
Hey, I
She's
want
a
you to know,
sweetie.
Zach.
Yeah.
It goes Bella and then us.
Okay.
Are you
Well-
okay with that?
One more time. When next?
Okay. Question 4.
What's
Alright.
your ball?
Question 4.
We're moving on to question 4 because
Sorry
I'm
about
still
that.
processing question 3.
Sorry.
Who's most likely to get arrested? Do not.
Patrick didn't do that.
Yeah, Patrick
what?
did that.
As young kids, who's most likely to get arrested? What's your answer? He says Patrick.
I guess me. Zach never did anything. He never did anything like that was gonna, get him into trouble. I'm not saying I did, but no comment.
I'm going to have to say Zachary. Now, let me tell you why. As he got older and as mischievous as he was, He did get into trouble, mister.
Stop! The wolf flies!
Oh, yeah. He got into trouble.
The wolf flies!
Yeah, you got into trouble, man.
Wolf flies!
Okay, Wolf Lodge, but you got into trouble, right?
Ow!
Oh, you did. Patrick, you know, I can't say you're ever a troublemaker or got into trouble or you were just happy with your sports and your Pokemon cards and your video games. And that was that.
Zach's like, we're going down together. It's both of us. If one of us gets arrested, so is the other.
Yeah.
Which is actually a very valid point.
Mama, bye.
All right, you ready? Number 5?
Yeah.
Okay, number 5. Who eats the most?
I take it that
That's a good
Yeah.
Zachary.
to win.
You know what? Always.
Stop.
Yeah.
To me, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, we eat a lot.
Yeah.
We love our food, okay? But if you had to pick one.
As a kid, neither of you were ever overeaters or snackers or so it's kind of hard to say. You both enjoyed your food.
I think I just ate more because I was more active in sports, and so
That could be true.
I think I did eat more than Zach. He also was very small. He's a small kid. But-
Oh, please.
Oh, you want Spanish food?
Yeah.
See, we're already craving Spanish food. What kind of? You want Mexican food? You want enchiladas?
Yeah.
With some beans? What about some chips and salsa?
He's salivating
Yeah,
already.
that sounds great. Okay, number
let's do it.
6.
Mama says.
Who's most likely to eat the last of something and leave an empty box in the cabinet? Okay, that
That's
was a little too
easy.
quick. That was a little
That
too
was
quick.
easy.
Patrick!
That was a little
Patrick.
too quick, guys. A
That was
little too quick.
too easy.
Do not come at me.
Patrick.
Queen.
Yeah,
Green.
it was me. It definitely was me. I can't even defend myself. I got
No,
nothing.
There's nothing to say.
I got nothing.
It just is what it is.
I was in a rush
Nah.
all the time, my whole childhood. So I was just like grabbing a granola bar, going, zoom out of the house. You know, I was just in a rush. Do I remember the exact situation I was in a rush in or the reason why? Of course not. But
No.
that's going to be my defense. And I think that would be valid in a court of law. All right.
Next.
Number 7.
Okay.
All right. Who is most likely to get in trouble with mom and dad?
Twins. You had your moments. Sometimes. No one
No,
ever
too.
stood out. Just kind of, it was like a running race.
You know, I like to think I was a perfect golden child. So I never got in trouble.
That's definitely not true.
In
but
this case, I can make up my own reality. And I like that
yes,
reality
That's
instead.
fine. But
What about you,
equally-
Zach?
Yeah.
Did you cause trouble growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
I think he's pleading the fifth.
Yeah, that's very valid too. Number 9?
Number 9.
Number 9. Okay. Who is most like mom?
You think so?
Oh, 100%. Yes. Zach is way more like you than I am like
I
you.
was gonna say Patrick. No?
I mean, it's your answer, but
No, that's interesting.
you think it's me
Yeah.
as a kid? Oh,
I think you both have very different qualities of me. Together, you make more of me.
that makes sense. We're your offspring.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Huh?
But like, who's more like you?
I mean, I can see why you think Zachary. Like, I can understand that
You think it's Patrick?
because I see
Yeah.
certain qualities that you have are like mine, and Zachary has that are like mine. So it's kind of an even. But I was gonna say you, but
That
now that
makes
you
sense.
got me thinking, I say both.
All right. Last but not least,
Number 10.
Number 10.
Ready?
Number 10, the last one. Who's most likely to survive a zombie apocalypse? These are the hit it hard.
I think.
My Timmy.
Your TV? Yeah.
What do you? I think it'll be Zachary.
No,
What?
take me.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be in a zombie
No, I think
apocalypse.
you'd make friends with all the
Oh, the
zombies.
zombies?
Yeah, he loves zombies.
He would just join the zombie crew.
So he would just join the crew.
The 2
So.
hours. How is that?
He'd see it as a challenge.
Oh no.
He's like, I'll be hiding from them for 24 hours. He's like, after that, I'm done. Only 24 hours.
I think Zachary would.
Shame. Grace.
He would find a way to just make
Oh, yeah.
friends.
He would.
You wouldn't fight them. You would survive the zombie apocalypse. That would be Zachary.
That would be you, man?
Yeah.
I believe in you. You'd be like, hiya,
Oh yeah.
back off.
Back up.
And I would have your back too.
Oh,
From way over there. Oh, you'd shoot them? Okay, all right. So-
there you go.
he's like, I know how to take care of them.
Huh? Michael Baker goes. The zombie goes.
Oh, you would save the girls?
Oh no.
See, that's how he would win.
You'd save the
He
girls.
would save the girls, and the girls would save him. Yeah,
Mm.
makes perfect sense.
Yep.
He
It's
knows.
valid. It's valid, man. I respect it.
Stop.
Good job, bro.
Stop. No, zombie goes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Lion.
Give him one more.
One more. Okay,
Do
number
the
11.
last one. The
Okay.
last one.
Last one, okay?
Okay, you got it. Here it is. Give us a good one.
Who is most likely to snitch on their brother?
Oh.
Bro.
That is so easy.
That is so you. That's all you.
Zachary.
No.
Absolutely, Zachary.
That's easily Zach.
He snitches on himself. He would definitely snitch on you. He'd be like, I did it.
Sorry.
Patrick
He'd be
did
like,
it.
Patrick did this. I wasn't a part of it. Patrick did it.
Yeah.
Like, he's got my back, but also he's someone that wants to tell every single truth and every single story. So
Yeah.
he's gonna snitch on me.
He knows. He knows.
You think I'm gonna snitch on you? You think I'm snitching on you?
Yeah.
When have I ever snitched on you? Name one time, sir. One time.
He knows. That's so funny. Yeah, definitely Zachary.
100% Zach. There you go. I got one finally. Ended on a high note.
There you go.
There we go, bro.
Knock.
Patrick? Okay. Mr. Zachary Valentine, what Crocs are you wearing today?
Tissy. Tissy.
Mater from Disney Cars. Oh, yeah. You always do wear those Crocs at Disneyland. I like it.
Look at how cute they are.
Honestly,
Like it. Put your feet together.
put your feet.
Let me see.
Let me show them. Show them. Show the camera. Oh yeah, there you go. I love those
I wish
Crocs.
they had the lights. They don't have the lights like the
Like the Lightning McQueen ones.
Lightning McQueen, but they're probably the second cutest Crocs he has.
Honestly, I love the attention to detail on those Crocs. You literally have Mater's teeth in front. On the back, you also have a little like hook to put on like Lightning McQueen. And so you could put the Crocs together where it looks like it's towing Lightning McQueen.
That's so cute.
The Crocs. And so again, this attention to detail, these Crocs are fantastic. Zach always absolutely loves wearing them to Disneyland and going to Radiator Springs. It's always a fun time. He's like, ooh, Mater.
Mater.
It's like twins. Mater.
Yeah.
Mater.
Yeah.
What do you think of your Crocs, man? Do you love them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now.
Now what?
I'm ready.
You ready to go to Disneyland?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I'm wearing these Crocs. I'm ready for Disneyland, bro. Get me to Disneyland
Me
right
too.
now.
Me too.
I know. He's like, why are we talking in a microphone where we can be at Disneyland?
You know, I do have to say though, we don't have a sponsorship with Crocs. We do these segments because he absolutely loves Crocs, and there's a story behind Crocs when he was younger. For another time, I just wanted to say that because he has a collection of Crocs.
Now.
So we figured we'd do this to showcase his Crocs and have him have this opportunity to just wear them, because sometimes he just wears the same ones over and over and over again. But I think,
And he wears them with pride.
yes, he
Those
does.
those are his shoes. Those are amazing. I love the Crocs, man. Love the fit.
Okay.
I love the fit, man.
Yeah, man.
You look fantastic.
I'm just jacket.
So, Mom, now it's time for golden moments. What is your golden moment?
I want to cherish everything. How we talked about taking all those photos, cherishing all those moments. And that was my way to keep my memories. My golden moment is right now, I just want to take a picture of you and just like keep this moment. But just to see how resilient you are to all those changes, because when you start telling the story of those challenges, you've been through them, you've gone through life, you've experienced them, you've problem solved. Watching how resilient you are while still being the loving person that you are, the kind hearted. A mom looks at their son, never really changing. She'll always see that young kid. When I see you, I'll always see that, my Patrick,
Mm-hmm.
my boy. That's never going to change. You've come a long ways in your own healing journey. You've come in a place in your life where I see that you want to share so much more love. That's beautiful to me, because the last thing a mom wants to see is their children go through pain that doesn't allow them to grow. And you've grown a lot. And I still see that fire in you now to want to do so much more. The idea of being here to see what else you are going to do, how many more hearts you're going to touch. And these stories are important to your story. And that's my golden moment, is watching you now, bringing those stories together. You and Zachary are my worlds and have always been. And you both are my legacy.
That's beautiful. Truly. I think my golden moment is a realization and also confirmation of the power of healing. And healing comes in so many different forms, but I don't think we would have as good of a relationship that we have if it wasn't for healing, whether it's individually or collectively together as a family. And then also just seeing like Zach, his own form of healing us through his humor, through his love, through his heart. And we've said it before, none of this would be possible if you take one of us out. And none of this would be possible if we didn't have our own form of healing and reflection and willingness to put in that hard work, especially in those tough times, to come out and say, hey, let's figure it out. Let's love one another. Let's do right by each other and our community. And I think that's a golden moment of that love that we have in what we're doing. And that starts from love, kindness, and our willingness to go through that hard healing journey. I think is beautiful, truly, because not everyone wants to face those hard realities. And I think it's important for people to face those things because once you come out of it, then it just feels like the world is your oyster and you just feel so much love between us that is truly just always is a golden moment.
That was beautifully said. That was beautiful.
Thank you all for watching Love Out of Chaos with the Valentines. I'm Patrick Valentine.
Lucky Valentine.
And I'm Linda, Mama Valentine.
Make sure to comment, like this video, subscribe, leave any comments, any questions you may have for any of us.
Bye-bye.
Listen to it on Spotify, listen to all platforms.
Ooh, listen on Spotify.
We're on all
yes.
platforms. And as always, it's a
a
beautiful
beautiful
chaos.
Chaos. Woo woo.
Woo woo.